Hi there, my name is Matt, and I'm the CEO of Glaut. Glaut is an AI native software for customer research. Today, I'm going to focus on a very specific and interesting use case of AI moderated interviews, which is one of the core pillars of our software. AI moderated interviews, or AIMI, are a new type of research methodology, a new way of collecting data through voice AI moderated interviews. Today, we're going to speak about politics and how Glaut built the first qualitative tracker about US politics. Political polling is a huge industry, and it's very much focused on a quantitative perspective of what people think. The classical example is what I'm showing here, which is the division in the citizens between who thinks the country is going in the right direction and who thinks the country is going in the wrong direction. This type of question is asked millions of times during the 4 years period, and this type of chart is a very telling chart of what the change in people perspective is. However, besides the quantitative side, we at Glaut want to understand people beyond the numbers. And that's why we decided to come out with a different and complementary version of the tracker. We conducted 4 monthly waves with 300 responses per wave. And despite these 300 people were representative from an age, gender, and ethnicity point of view, they were not representative from a voter's perspective. So take this as a prototype, as an experiment. But if this goes well, and if you like it, we'll definitely consider setting up a proper tracker going forward. But what were our goals is to study, one, what voters think that are the country's top priorities, two, what are the common narratives amongst them, and three, which action of the current administration shaped their perspective in the past few months. In order to do that, we led the discussion with 6 open-ended questions. These questions were asked and performed by our software, the AI moderator. And they went from, tell me about the most important actions that you remember that happened in the past few months, to very open questions like, how is America these days? Then we focused on what should be Trump's administration top priority right now. And finally, we created a set of 3 questions about current, current performance of President Donald Trump. These 6 open-ended questions created hundreds of real, engaging, personalized conversations with voters. And through these conversations and their analysis powered by our software, we were able to understand what people thought and felt about the current state of US politics. But let's step for a second on the concept of AIMI. AI-moderated interviews are scalable as a survey, as a COWI, but they go in depth as a human interviewer. So you get the best of both worlds, being able to interview hundreds or thousands of people in many different languages, but at the same time, go in probing and follow-ups with them that allow you to actually interact with them and understand their perspective. So let me switch now to report the actual findings of our tracker. Great, here we are with the actual report. As you can see, this is the report composed by 4 waves, and we can add a 5th, a 6th, and so on. And we asked to all the respondents the 6 open-ended questions that I showed you before about what happened in the past few months, how is America these days, what should be Trump's administration top priority, and 3 questions about Donald Trump administration. Each of these questions composed a 10, almost 11-minute long conversation with 1,200 participants, out of which 84% completed the interview. So as you can see, all of these interviews have been recorded, and whenever we see this icon, we can actually listen to the verbatim and download it if needed so that we can add it to our presentation. But what do we do with 1,200 completed interviews? It's very hard to think about reading them all, and just thinking about the amount of pages of the transcript is daunting. So luckily, we can use Glaut platform to actually analyze and interpret these interviews. So for example, in the top priority, I will take, just for the sake of time, I will take just a couple of examples. For the country top priority, all the questions and answers were analyzed and coded in a multi-level code structure. So what that means is that, as you can see, these were the main topics: economy foundation, social unity, immigration, national security, climate change and energy, and so on. And within each of them, Glaut was able to identify about a dozen different codes. Some of them were especially relevant and frequent, in this case, economic stability, which seemed the top priority. Let me now then show you how does it look on a report perspective. The report is basically our way of summarizing and narrating the insights that came out of a project. In this case, we structured the report in different chapters, and I'm going to focus on the chapter about the priorities, which is what I showed you before. So After analyzing question number 1, that is basically what are the actions that you remember when you think about the past weeks, and top actions that people remember were the tariff and the immigration enforcement by far, we can actually check the question number 3, which was what are the top priorities that you believe that Trump should focus on in the next in his administration. And as we saw before, strengthening economic foundation took the leadership with over 60% of the mentions. And by the way, as you can see, this is not summing to 100%, just because some people mention 2 or 3 topics each. And therefore you have a total that goes beyond 100%, because when people are allowed to speak freely, they might mention a few topics that are important for them, not just one, as in a survey. As you can see from the graph, we are not only able to analyze and code the answers, but actually to calculate the frequency of those topics coming out in the interviews, and therefore we're able to plot in a chart the results. This was done for the country priorities, and in the report we can see the explanation, the narrative explanation of each of the topics, and some relevant verbatim that are quoted as part of the evidence of that point. If we click on one of them, we can actually go and listen to the verbatim, so that this allows in front of a client to bring the customer to life, and this is very impactful, is one of the features that our customers really love. So the report covers the top 3 goals that I spoke about, the voters' perception about the state of the country. In this case, we did not ask what if the country was going the right or wrong direction, but we actually interpreted people's perspective from the question about, let me grab it. We interpreted from a combination of 4 questions. So we asked Glaut to combine 4 questions verbatim and interpret if the person was actually thinking that the country was going in the negative direction or in the positive one. And we can see a predominance of negative feelings. Again, this was not representative from a sampling perspective, but it still gives a quite detailed overview of people's opinion. After we checked how AI moderated interviews were used for political polling, let me just say that many of our customers are not using only for political opinion, but also for customer experience and patients and doctors' experience as well. A lot of use case around asset and creative testing. Product exploration, market entry are 2 other big use cases. And finally, we conduct a lot of brand trackers, very similar to the ones that I showed you, but more focused on brand awareness. To summarize, our platform is used by experienced and demanding researchers to program and run AI moderated interviews, to analyze them directly on our platform in real time in multiple languages, and to summarize findings into actionable, quick to read, quick to act upon reports. This is how you can book a demo with me, and this is my email in case you want to read the full report. Should be an email, I'm happy to send it to you. Thank you.